So guys, we had seen a decent rally in last 1 week, like in fact in this truncated week wherein Nifty has rallied by more than 1000 points from its low of 8056 levels, which was the closing of Friday's trading session. And now we are at a level which has been a strong hurdle in the past. In couple of years back, Nifty had made a high of 9119 and then it corrected from that levels, and we are very near to the same. Nifty has managed to close about 9100 level, and in fact the rally of last week has surprised most of the market participants because no one were expecting such kind of bounce in just 3 trading sessions. Now we'll see what are the technical levels which we can see in Nifty. We'll discuss about the sectoral indices, and we'll discuss about some stocks. So first we'll repeat one thing which we already discussed in our last webinar, which was there on Friday on technical analysis. So market had already witnessed many major falls in the past, like Harshad Mehta scam, Ketan Parikh scam, then Lehman Brothers crisis, which led to a recession. Then we had seen a major fall at the time of demonetization, and this one is due to the coronavirus and the fall in the crude prices. So it clearly shows that whenever market had fell badly, after once the fall is over, we had seen a decent up move in the market. So at current levels, if we look at the historical data, so there were almost 7 major falls in market in last 20 years. So 6 in the past, and current one is the 7th one. So starting from 2000, we had analyzed all these falls, and we can see that the highest or the biggest fall was in 2008, wherein the Nifty has corrected by around 65%. The second highest was in 2000, wherein Nifty fell by around 45%. On an average, the decline was around 36%. In the recent fall, Nifty had corrected by around 39%, and that too in just 39 days. So we can say that this is the fastest fall in last 20 years. Now what happened once the fall is over? So we had seen that in next 2 years, Nifty had given a tremendous return, and in fact you can see that in 2004 or 2008, Nifty had given a return of more than 100% in just 2 years. So it clearly shows, and in fact the minimum return is more than 50%. So it clearly indicates that once the fall is over, we can see around 50, 70 or 100% kind of return from the lows. So average return of past 6 falls is 87%. Okay, so this clearly shows that once the fall is over, we may see a decent bounce in the markets. Okay, now if we discuss the major fall which is there in 2008, so first of all, there are so much of too many messages about Hindi, so we'll keep something Hindi also in between the same. So the major fall in 2008 had 8 bear market rallies. So one thing to note is bear market rallies are too fast. Okay, it takes very less time, and the market rallies by a decent percentage. Okay, so 2008 में 8 बेयर मार्केट रैली आया था, और हम लोग देख सकते हैं स्क्रीन पे कि जो फर्स्ट रैली था विच जो 9 दिन का था, जिसमें निफ्टी 25% रैली हुआ था, then 12%, 11%, 14%, 10%, 20%, 12% एंड 13%. सो ये 8 जो मेजर रैलीज थे, इसका अगर हम लोग एवरेज देखेंगे तो 7 दिन का इसका एवरेज था, और मार्केट लगभग 15% तक रैली हुआ था इन जस्ट 7 डेज. सो दिस इज द एवरेज पीरियड एंड एवरेज परसेंटेज गेन्स. ओके, सो हम लोग क्लियरली देख सकते हैं कि अगर अभी का जो मार्केट है, इन द रिसेंट फॉल, निफ्टी फर्स्ट मेड अ लो ऑफ 7511, वहां से 15% का रैली आया. इनफैक्ट सॉरी, द रैली वाज अराउंड 20%, जो 9000 तक गया. फिर से एक करेक्शन आया जो 8056 तक आया, और वहां से अभी फिर से लगभग 13% का रैली आ चुका है, वो भी खाली 3 ट्रेडिंग सेशंस में. सो ये प्रीवियस चार्ट है और करंट चार्ट. सो वी जस्ट नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड कि ये जो बाउंस है, वेदर इट्स अ फ्लैश रैली और इट कैन बी अ पार्ट ऑफ अ मेजर डाउन ट्रेंड. ओके, इट्स डिफिकल्ट टू कैच बॉटम. सो हम लोग अभी एज ऑफ नाउ वी कांट से कि बॉटम बन गया मार्केट में, या फिर यहाँ से एक बड़ा रैली लाइक 12,000 या फिर 11,000 तक आ सकता है. इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू से. सो विल कीप वन थिंग, हम लोग will go with a simple flow like 1 week at a time. So next week क्या लग रहा है, हम लोग उसके ऊपर ज्यादा फोकस करेंगे rather than catching a top and bottoms. ठीक है. So if we compare the 2008 fall, you can see that जो फर्स्ट फॉल आया था 2008 का स्टार्ट हुआ था, उसके बाद में 25% का रैली आया था, फिर से फॉल, देन 12% का रैली, एंड देन इट अगेन स्टार्टेड करेक्टिंग. सो इन बिटवीन वी हैड डिसेंट bounces in the entire fall of 65%. So अगर हम लोग जो मेजर रैलीज है वो अगर काउंट करें 2008 का, so 8 रैली आया था और which was around 15%. So 120% bounce was also there from lows. So okay, so I'm like let's make it very clear कि low to high कोई catch नहीं कर सकता, but we are just analyzing the data. Okay, so right now after the fall, this is incorrect. So the first bounce was 20% and the recent bounce is 13%. So there is a possibility कि शायद हो सकता है कि ये लो एक मेजर लो हो जाए और यहाँ से बड़ा अपमूव स्टार्ट हो जाए स्लोली एंड ग्रेजुअली, एंड देयर आर द चांसेस कि ये जो फॉल है और ये जस्ट बाउंस एक इनिशियल बाउंस है, एंड अगेन वी मे सी अ लोअर लेवल्स. ओके, so now let's analyze the current structure of Nifty. So Nifty का अगर हम लोग देखेंगे ओवरऑल चार्ट स्ट्रक्चर, तो निफ्टी ने एक मेजर ट्रेंड लाइन ब्रेक किया था वीकली चार्ट्स पे. It moved below its 200 weeks exponential moving average and it's sustaining below the same. We can see that from 2013, 200 EMA was acting as a strong support for Nifty, और उसके नीचे अभी निफ्टी सस्टेन हो रहा है, जो डेफिनेटली एक बहुत ही नेगेटिव साइन है. देन वी कैन सी अभी जो बाउंस आया है, सो इन द रिसेंट बाउंस निफ्टी हैज retracing near to 38.2% of the entire fall from 12,430 to 7,511. Okay, so अभी तक निफ्टी 38.2% रिट्रेस करने के पास में आ चुका है. तो जनरली हम लोग देखते हैं कि अगर कोई भी ट्रेंड ज्यादा स्ट्रांग होता है तो उसका जो पुल बैक मूव आता है वो इधर 38.2% तक होता है या फिर 50% होता है, और अगेन फिर से तो उसका एग्जिस्टिंग ट्रेंड है वो रिज्यूम हो जाता है, मतलब वो फिर से स्टार्ट हो जाता है. और 9011 जो हम लोग बात कर रहे थे, जो 2015 का हाई था, ओके, अभी फिर से मार्केट उसके पास में ट्रेड कर रहा है. सो 9119 टू 9390, सो मोटा मोटी हम लोग बोल सकते हैं कि 9400 का जो जोन है ये स्ट्रॉन्ग हर्डल है, विच इज द 38.2% रिट्रेसमेंट लेवल ऑफ द एंटायर फॉल. सो आइडियली देयर इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी कि यहाँ से और 200 पॉइंट 300 पॉइंट बाउंस आने के बाद में फिर से करेक्शन स्टार्ट हो सकता है. व्हाट इफ निफ्टी सस्टेन्स अबाउट 9400? अगर उसके ऊपर सस्टेन करना स्टार्ट कर देता है निफ्टी, देन द नेक्स्ट हर्डल फॉर निफ्टी इज प्लेस्ड अराउंड 9970 levels, or I can say a 10,000 mark. So 10,000 mark is the 50% retracement of the entire fall, plus the 200 days EMA is also placed around 10,100 kind of level. So that zone would be a very strong hurdle. So now अगर मैं एक्सट्रीम केस इफ आई से कि नेक्स्ट वीक और नेक्स्ट 10 days में निफ्टी कहाँ तक जा सकता है, सो आई कैन से फर्स्ट हर्डल अराउंड 9400 वहां पे आता है, तो जो लॉन्ग पोजीशंस है वो कम करना चाहिए. अगर उसके ऊपर सस्टेन हुआ तो एक्सट्रीम केस इज 10,000. ओके, so that is the best case scenario as of now. और नीचे की साइड में अगर बात करेंगे तो जो लास्ट वीक का जो लो था विच इज 8055 लेवल, वो इमीडिएट सपोर्ट रहेगा निफ्टी का. बिलो दैट मेजर सपोर्ट इज प्लेस्ड एट 7500 राइट नाउ, ओके, विच इज द रिसेंट लोस 7511. अगर वो ब्रेक कर देता है तो उसके नीचे नेक्स्ट सपोर्ट सीधा आता है 6800 एंड देन 6200. ओके, हम लोग अभी उसका बात नहीं करेंगे बिकॉज एनीवेज वी आर having a webinar every day, so we'll keep on discussing the changes in levels and all. So as of now, we'll focus on two major levels. One is 9400 on the upside, or downside mein 8055, and very immediately for next 1-2 days 8800. Okay, so that would be the immediate support. So once Nifty breaks 8800, then we may see some kind of weakness coming in the market, and that may lead to a pullback move, or I can say a corrective move towards 8100, 8055 kind of levels. Now we'll see the monthly chart of Bank Nifty. You can clearly see that it had given a breakdown from its strong support of 100 exponential moving average on monthly chart. Okay, recently from 2006 it had taken a support, except in 2008 जहाँ पे बैंक निफ्टी ने ये ब्रीच किया था और उसके नीचे सस्टेन हुआ था. एक चीज बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग है कि दिस फॉल was mainly led by the banking counters. Okay, so Bank Nifty had underperformed in last couple of in fact last 1 month or 2 months, जहाँ पे बैंक निफ्टी का जो फॉल है वो ज्यादा शार्प है as compared to Nifty's fall, and many index heavyweights, or I can say the banking heavyweights like Kotak Bank, ICICI Bank, Axis Bank, HDFC Bank, they had corrected very sharply. Okay, so generally ये सब स्टॉक्स इतना ज्यादा करेक्ट नहीं होता मार्केट फॉल होने में, एंड दे एक्ट एज अ लाइक दे शोज रिसेलेंस इन द फॉल्स. बट ये टाइम ये सब स्टॉक्स में भी वैसा के वैसा फॉल आया है, और हम लोग देख सकते हैं कि बैंक निफ्टी उसकी वजह से काफी स्ट्रॉन्ग सेल ऑफ देखने के लिए मिला है. अभी बैंक निफ्टी उसका जो प्रीवियस हाइज है उसके नीचे ट्रेड कर रहा है, सो डेफिनेटली वहां पे उसका एक हर्डल जरूर है. और इनफैक्ट निफ्टी ने जहां डेली चार्ट पे अपना रिसेंट जो हाई था वो क्रॉस कर दिया है, बैंक निफ्टी अभी तक उसके काफी नीचे चल रहा है. सो 22,000 मार्क on Bank Nifty is strong hurdle right now, which is around the 100 exponential moving average, और जो उसका previous swing high भी है 21,500 to 22,000. तो ये जोन काफी स्ट्रॉन्ग हर्डल रहेगा. नीचे की साइड में इमीडिएट जो बैंक निफ्टी का सपोर्ट आ रहा है वो लगभग आ रहा है 18,000 पे, एंड बिलो दैट 16,100 जो इसका अभी रिसेंट लो था. बैंक निफ्टी अभी तक 38.2% रिटेस्ट करने से काफी दूर है, सो वो लेवल अभी हम लोग डिस्कस नहीं करेंगे, एंड विल सी हाउ बैंक निफ्टी बिहेव्स इन नेक्स्ट वीक. इफ इट सस्टेन्स बिलो 22,000, देन ओनली देयर इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी of a pullback move up to around 24,500 kind of levels. So Bank Nifty, I feel it may underperform in coming days or coming weeks as compared to Nifty. Now last week we discussed about two sectors, and in fact I got many queries what to buy in this fall, so I replied that pharma and FMCG counters like HUL, Nestle are the best ones to pick in the recent fall. And pharma, last week when it was trading at around 7,300, we discussed that chart, and it rallied by around 20%. It moved to 8,800 kind of levels in just 1 week. Now, if you see the 200 exponential moving average in pharma, right now it's taking a hurdle, it's taking a resistance around the same, and thus the ongoing outperformance in pharma may take a halt. I'm not saying कि pharma will correct from these levels, but जो अपमूव जो आया है, जो स्पीड से अपमूव आया है, वो एक halt ले सकता है, और there can be a small time correction as well as price correction in the pharma counters. Now, this is the FMCG index. FMCG index also rallied sharply. This is the daily chart, and we had seen huge outperformance in FMCG counters also, like HUL, Nestle. But now the Nifty FMCG has also reached to its reversal zone. It formed a bearish bad pattern on daily chart, and thus there is a possibility of some price as well as time correction in the Nifty FMCG counters as well. Okay, this is from very short term perspective. I'm not talking about a long term right now. This is just there can be just a pullback move which may see in next week. Now, if the FMCG and pharma may take a pause, then which sector may lead, or which may where we can see the buying interest? So the buying interest may emerge in auto counters. It's highly beaten down sector, wherein we had witnessed a sharp rally in last week. In fact, auto index had rallied by around 33% in last week and posted its biggest ever weekly gains. Okay, so right now we are seeing a double bottom formation on daily chart of auto index, and many auto counters like Maruti, Bajaj Auto, Hero Motocorp, then M&M had rallied sharply. One more stock which had been in decent down move like Tata Motors, वहाँ पे भी लग रहा है कि एक छोटा सा शॉर्ट टर्म बेस बन गया अराउंड 65-70 जोन, और यहाँ से फिर से बाउंस आने के चांसेस लग रहे हैं. अभी 72 के ऊपर वो जब तक सस्टेन हो रहा है, देन देयर इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी दैट इट मे रैली अप टू अराउंड 95-100 काइंड ऑफ जोन. So initially in coming days or a coming week we can see and bounce back in auto counters. So जो last 3 दिन से जो bounce back चल रहा है auto में वो continue होना चाहिए next week भी. Now if we look at the IT index, we discussed this chart in last week also, where हम लोग ने clearly देखा था कि इसने एक channel से breakdown दिया है और अपने 50 exponential moving average which was a strong support since 2011 उसको break करके उसके नीचे sustain हो रहा है. So this is a negative sign, and thus we may see some kind of underperformance in IT stocks in coming days. In fact, we discussed one more chart, which is the ratio chart of Nifty, IT and the Nifty. We saw that since 2005, it has been taking resistance around 1.53 levels, except a bounce in 2014. और ये रेशियो लास्ट वीक लगभग 1.47 1.48 पे था, अभी 1.40 पे आ गया. तो लास्ट वीक एनीवेज निफ्टी आईटी ने अंडर परफॉर्म किया एज कंपेयर टू निफ्टीज गेन, and that underperformance may continue, and we may see 1.3 kind of level in Nifty IT to Nifty ratio. Now, this is the heat map of last week. Okay, so last week what we saw is many counters had rallied by around 25, 30 or 40%. Okay, now we'll see whether that bounce was on fresh buying or it was made a short covering bounce. So below the stock, the first percentage, like in Jindal Steel, you can see that 44.2%. So that is the price gain. And below that is minus 32.4%, जो है open interest change. Okay, so हम लोग clearly देख सकते हैं कि जो 32% open interest कम हुआ है, 44% price gain हुआ है. So this is clearly a short covering bounce. Okay, so in this chart, the blue boxes are the short covering bounces, and the green one are the fresh buyings. Okay. So you can clearly see that the stocks like Jindal Steel, M&M, Maruti, Axis Bank, Shriram Transport, Sun TV, then Concord, Steel Authority, they all rallied on back of short covering. While the fresh buying is getting emerged in counters like Cadila Healthcare, wherein the open interest has increased by 33%, Torrent Pharma, जहाँ पे open interest 51% increase हुआ है, Lupin 37% से ओपन इंटरेस्ट इंक्रीज हुआ है, मन्नपुरम में थोड़ा लॉन्ग बना है, 15% हुआ है, बिल्डअप हुआ है. टीवीएस मोटर हैड सीन सम लॉन्ग बिल्डअप वेयरइन द ओपन इंटरेस्ट इंक्रीज बाय 35%. सो ये सब जो काउंटर्स है जहाँ पे फ्रेश लॉन्ग्स बना है, सो these counters you can keep on radar, because so the stocks which rallied purely on the short covering, ओके तो अभी क्या हो गया है कि मार्केट में इतने शॉर्ट्स नहीं बचे. ओके सो शॉर्ट्स कम हो गए मार्केट्स में, तो शॉर्ट कवरिंग बाउंस कंटिन्यू होना थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट है. So if the fresh buying emerges in market, then only we may see a decent rally. Otherwise, this up move may fizzle out soon. Okay. So for example, we came out with various notes in last week, and in fact, one note was on the counters which are having huge short positions, and we recommended to buy three stocks. One is Maruti, Kotak Bank, and the third one is HDFC Life. All had given a return in between 10 to 20-25% in just three trading sessions. Now we need to change the strategy, because short covering bounce जो expected था और जो major shorts जहाँ पे थे वो already cover हो गया. अभी इतना major shorts नहीं है कि market में short covering bounce की वजह से और 500 या 1000 पॉइंट का rally आ जाए. Okay. So now what can be our strategy? So if market continues to move high, then you need to look for the stocks, okay, which are having good amount of long positions in the system. Okay, और वो longs जहाँ पे है वो अभी buy नहीं करना है. We need to take entry on dips. थोड़ा correction आता है. For example, if Nifty corrects by around 500 points from current levels, and now to be frank, looking at the volatility, 500 point is very common, and it's average trading range of a single day. 400-500 पॉइंट का तो एवरी डे का मूव हो गया अभी निफ्टी. तो 500 पॉइंट एक दिन में कभी भी करेक्ट हो सकता है. So if we get somewhere around 8,500 kind of level, then you need to look for the stocks wherein we had seen a good amount of long build-up. Now we see the same heat map since March expiry. Okay, so March expiry से अभी तक. So basically this is the heat map of April series. April series में अभी तक you can see that the major gainer is Cipla, but open interest just 4% increase हुआ है. So we can see that this rally is backed by some short covering as well as marginal long build-up. Okay, so mixed positions are there. But stock like Lupin, Torrent Pharma, Cadila Healthcare, then IGL, DV Slab, these counters had seen a good amount of long build-up. I can add GAIL also in the same category, Bajaj Auto, Hind Petroleum, बायोकॉन, जहाँ पे ओपन इंटरेस्ट अप्रैल सीरीज में काफी बड़ा है, प्राइस काफी बड़ा है. सो दीज आर दी काउंटर्स वेयर इन क्लियर कट लॉन्ग फॉर्मेशन इज देयर. ओके, सो अगर मार्केट में डिप आता है, then you need to look for buying opportunity in these count of counters for trading purpose. While कुछ counters है जहाँ पे अभी तक काफी short positions intact है. आप नीचे देख सकते हैं जो रेड में है. ओके, सो RBL बैंक जहाँ पे 94% ओपन इंटरेस्ट इंक्रीज हुआ है और वो अभी तक इंटैक्ट है. PVR, MFSL, भारत फोर्ज, बंधन बैंक, देन बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा, इंडसइंड बैंक, बजाज फाइनेंस, आइसर मोटर. सो ये जो सब स्टॉक्स है, इन स्टॉक्स में अभी भी काफी शॉर्ट पोजीशंस इंटैक्ट है. और यहाँ से अगर मार्केट आपको नेगेटिव साइड में प्ले करना है, देन these are the stocks wherein you should look for the short opportunities. Okay, तो जहां से भी मार्केट में रिवर्सल आता है या करेक्शन के साइंस दिखता है, तो ये जो काउंटर्स है यहाँ पे हम लोग को सेल साइड में देखना है. Now we are open for Q&A. If you have any queries, you can ask. Okay, so you just note down all your queries in the chat box. We'll take the queries, and sorry, you ask your queries in Q&A. Okay, so chat box में already काफी messages है, so put your queries in Q&A so that we'll solve your doubts. So the first question is, what's your short-term view and long-term view in stocks like Tata Elxsi, Britannia, RBL Bank, and IPCA? So I will take first as IPCA. So IPCA एक ऐसा स्टॉक है, IPCA Lab. There are few counters like IPCA Lab, Torrent Pharma, DV Slab, Dr. Reddy. ये सब काउंटर्स, ये सब स्टॉक्स मार्केट को आउट परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं, जहाँ पे निफ्टी अभी अपने हाई से लगभग 25% डाउन है. ये स्टॉक्स अपने 52 वीक हाईस पे ट्रेड कर रहे हैं और इनफैक्ट लास्ट 4-5 दिन से नया 52 वीक हाई बना रहे हैं. So ट्रिमेंडस आउटपरफॉर्मेंस है ये स्टॉक में. सो इप्का लैब व्यू पॉजिटिव है. I won't be surprised to see 1950 2000 kind of levels in IPCA lab. But if you are looking to buy right now, then you need to wait for small dip. If you get it somewhere around 1450 1500 kind of level, then you can start buying. But अगर आपके पास already है तो होल्ड कीजिए, 2000 तक के लेवल्स दिख सकते हैं. Then in Tata Elxsi, some bounce can be there, but overall chart structure is still not that promising, and थोड़ा bounce but यहाँ से देख सकते हैं next week में. Britannia, as I said कि FMCG counters में थोड़ा time as well as price correction हो सकता है. So I'm expecting Britannia to remain range bound. और RBL बैंक, I think if you are already having positions, तो आप थोड़े bounce पे निकल जाइए उसमें से और fresh buying के लिए उसको avoid ही करें. Okay. Then what if lockdown is extended? So see, one thing I just want to say that we are in a scenario which is very new to everyone. ठीक है, ऐसा सिनेरियो पहले कभी भी नहीं हुआ, बिकॉज हिस्टोरिकली वी हैड सीन कि अगर कोई एक कंट्री का प्रॉब्लम है तो वो उनका इंडिविजुअल प्रॉब्लम है, देन दूसरे कंट्रीज उसमें अच्छा करते हैं, दूसरे इकोनॉमीज पे इतना इम्पैक्ट नहीं आता बिकॉज ऑफ अदर कंट्रीज. राइट नाउ द एंटायर वर्ल्ड इज फाइटिंग अगेंस्ट वन थिंग विच इज द कोरोना. ओके, सो ये ऐसा सिनेरियो जहाँ पे बहुत सारे कन्वेंशनल रिसर्च में गो फॉर अ टॉस. ओके, सो लॉकडाउन एक्सटेंड होगा नहीं होगा, नो वन कैन से. इफ इट गेट एक्सटेंडेड, सो वन थिंग इज वी नीड टू सी दैट मार्केट इज फोरकास्टिंग लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स. ओके, सो वो फोरकास्ट में चल रहा है. सो अभी जो बाउंस है उसके पीछे भी कुछ ना कुछ assumptions है कि there can be some stimulus package, और जो ग्लोबल लेवल पे जो कोरोना का इम्पैक्ट है वो कर्व फ्लैट हो रहा है, नंबर ऑफ केसेस मार्जिनली कम हो रहे हैं आने. then there is a possibility कि we may soon get some medicine for the corona and all. But to keep it to the technicals, I would say that we need to look at the levels rather than these news factors. Okay, so keep the levels in mind and trade accordingly. Now, is it right time for any long-term investment? See, Rahul, it's difficult to say. As I said, कि bottom यहाँ पे बना है या नहीं बना है, we can't say as of now. But last week also I suggested to start investing in trenches. ये अभी भी ये बोलूँगा कि start investing in trenches. For example, if you are having 10 lakh rupees, then invest 2 to 3 lakh rupees right now. So you can keep 20 to 25% investment right now, and keep a note of levels. So for example, if Nifty comes to 8,000, add more. At 7,500 or 7,000, add more, and keep one trench for 6,000, 5,500 levels also. So be mentally and financially prepared for a fall up to 6,000 or 5,500 levels, so that you can average. Because once the fall is over, we may see decent gains in coming couple of years. So long-term investment you can start, but start in trenches. Please share your view on Tata Motors. So Tata Motors, as I said, view is positive for short-term bounce. We may see a bounce up to 95 to 100. Fresh levels in HDFC Bank and Reliance. Okay, so Reliance is basically having some sort of bounce back in last week, and this bounce may continue up to around 1280, 1300 kind of levels. But it would be very difficult for Reliance to sustain at these levels, because a huge gap area is also there, and it had given a breakdown from that level. So for example, if you want to take an entry, then wait for a corrective move up to around 1120, then only look for buying opportunity in Reliance. And if you're already having, then you need to look for exit around 1280 to 300 levels. Then HDFC Bank also witnessed some buying interest, but overall banking, as I said, कि वो थोड़ा सा underperform कर रहा है, और यहाँ से 980 to 1000 would be a very strong hurdle for HDFC Bank. So it's difficult for the bank, HDFC Bank, to sustain above that level. So if you are having long positions, then look for exit around 1000 kind of levels. This is purely from a trading perspective. I'm not talking about the investments. Okay. Now, view on Asian Paints. So Asian Paint is basically showing some bounce, but 1700 का strong hurdle है. 1700 previous resistance zone भी था 1690 1700, और उसके ऊपर अगर ये sustain होता है, then only we may see a bounce up to around the 1765 1780 levels. Otherwise यहाँ से एक correction के chances पूरे लग रहे हैं, and risk reward is getting favorable on the short side for Asian Paints. Now HUL view. So Hindustan Unilever, as I said, कि FMCG पूरा ही लग रहा है कि एक price और time correction दिखा सकता है. So the view remains same in HUL also. We may see a dip up to around 2250 kind of level, and if you want to take a fresh entry, then wait for that dip around 2250 के अराउंड आता है, तो वहाँ पे ही लॉन्ग करने के लिए देखिए, उससे पहले नहीं करें, अभी वेट करें यहाँ पे. View on DV slab. DV slab in fact showed a decent outperformance on Thursday. कल काफी अच्छा मूव आया उसमें. Now 2250 is a very strong support, which was the previous resistance. Now that resistance will act as a support for a DV slab. So that would be a strong support, and you can look to buy around the same levels. On upside, we may see a bounce up to around 2500 kind of levels in DV slab. Okay. Then a view on ICICI Prudential. Okay, so ICICI True Life is not dealing in line with the market. Last 3 दिन में उसमें कुछ भी movement इतना खास नहीं हुआ, and in fact now if it breaks 330 level, then we may see a fall in ICICI Prudential up to 300 kind of level. So the major hurdle for ICICI Pru is placed around 370. From last 3 weeks, it's taking a hurdle around 370 levels, और 370 अगर क्रॉस होता है उसके बाद में ही उसमें एक तेजी देख सकते हैं. अदरवाइज this will remain in a sideways to negative zone. View on ICICI Bank. So ICICI Bank again, this is also underperforming in recent bounce, and now the major hurdle is placed around 360 levels. So 360 अगर cross करता है, then only we may see bounce. Otherwise it will remain in a range bound to a bit of on the negative side. Okay. View on Infosys. Infosys and TCS I think may underperform the market, and in fact IT में थोड़ा short positions भी है. On the monthly report we recommended to sell Mindtree, which is giving a fresh breakdown, and on the buy side we recommended to buy ITC for the April month. So IT I feel that we may see a down move, and Infosys भी उसमें 580 तक के levels दिखा सकता है. Major hurdle for Infosys is placed in the zone of 670 to 680 levels. Then L&T. So L&T again it's underperforming, और ये underperformance काफी time से चल रहा है. In fact market last 2 महीने से गिरा, but L&T is continuously moving down, and it's showing lot of underperformance as compared to the benchmark indices. At current levels also 860 to 880 is strong hurdle for L&T. जब तक उसके नीचे ये sustain कर रहा है, तब तक chances है कि ये फिर से 700 से 680 तक के levels दिखा सकता है. So for buying, you need to avoid this counter. Now the view on ICER motor. So ICER motor overall, if we look at its weekly or monthly chart, we had witnessed a head and shoulder breakdown, और उसके बाद में ये already लगभग 3000 पॉइंट्स करेक्ट भी हुआ है. एज ऑफ नाउ हेड एंड शोल्डर का टारगेट अचीव नहीं हुआ है और नीचे के लेवल्स और देख सकते हैं, बट इन वेरी नियर टर्म इन नेक्स्ट वीक और सो ये भी अपने पेयर्स के साथ में बाउंस दिखा सकता है. सो फॉर नेक्स्ट वीक I won't be surprised to see 14,800, 15,000 kind of level on ICER motor, but overall chart structure is still negative and 15,000 के वहाँ पे आपको exit करके चलना है स्टॉक में से. Now the view on Maruti. Maruti shown a decent rally in last week and अभी 5400 का उसका एक immediate hurdle है. If it crosses that 5400 hurdle, then we may see a bounce up to 6200 kind of level in Maruti. Then Voltas. So Voltas looks promising for a bounce, and we may see a bounce up to around 540, 545 levels in Voltas. एक मॉर्निंग स्टार काइंड ऑफ पैटर्न बना है वीकली चार्ट में जो पॉजिटिव साइन है, एंड यहाँ से डेफिनेटली एक बाउंस के जरूर चांसेस लग रहे हैं इसमें. सो इफ यू आर हैविंग लॉन्ग पोजीशंस देन यू कैन कीप अ स्टॉप लॉस ऑफ 490 एंड यू कैन keep on holding for a target of around 545 kind of levels, but don't look for shorting opportunity as of now in Voltas. Then do you think is fundamentally sound for long term? So basically fundamentals के लिए we are having webinar, so उसमें इनफैक्ट our experts, fundamental experts are discussing about the stocks and the sectors, but if I want to just add few stocks which our fundamental team is recommending to buy for long term, then these are HUL, Bharti, HDFC Bank, ICICI Prudential, TCS. There is a list of stocks, so these are few stocks from that list which are good from fundamental perspective, and you can look for buying for a long term, but don't invest your entire money at one stance. Look for dips, keep investing in tranches. As I said, 20-25% you can invest right now, and after every 800,000 points fall you can keep on adding to your investment. Then more question. Tata Consumer and Chola Finance. So Tata Consumer is moving in a pullback move, and this move may continue somewhere up to around 330, 335 kind of level. So some more bounce can be there in Tata Global. So if you are having a long positions, you can keep on holding with a stop loss of 295. And then the next one is Chola Finance. Okay. So Chola Finance overall it's moving in a strong downtrend, but we had seen a positive divergence of RSI on daily chart, and thus some bounce is there from around 120 kind of levels. So this bounce may continue up to 190, 195 levels, but it would be very difficult for Chola to sustain above 195 kind of levels in coming days. So for longs, if you are having at lower levels, then you need to look for exit around 195 kind of levels. Then SBI from long-term perspective. So SBI is trading near its make or break levels. 170 to 175 is a very strong support for SBI from long-term perspective. If it manages to sustain that level, then I can see a pullback or a bounce up to around 245, 250 kind of levels in next 4 to 6 months. So if you are taking a long positions based on the technical charts, then you need to keep a stop loss of 170, and we may see a bounce in SBI up to that level. But if it breaks 175 and if it sustains below that, then there is a possibility of further down move up to around 150 kind of levels in SBI. Then beyond Bajaj Finance. So Bajaj Finance again, it underperformed drastically in recent move, and right now it's making a double bottom kind of formation on the daily chart along with the positive divergence of RSI. So this bounce may continue somewhere up to around 2,900 to 3,000 kind of level. So another 10 to 12% bounce can be there in Bajaj Finance. TCS. So TCS is so basically in TCS we had seen that short positions got formed in March series. काफी शॉर्ट्स बने थे मार्च में, देन रोल ओवर्स भी TCS में 96% था. ये मंथ भी अभी तक मार्जिनल शॉर्ट्स और बने ही है, तो ओवरऑल शॉर्ट पोजीशंस है सिस्टम में और अभी तक शॉर्ट कवरिंग का कोई सिग्नल नहीं दिख रहा है. So we may see a down move in TCS, and on the lower side now the immediate support is there around 1650, and below that the major support is there around 1580 kind of level. On upside now 1800 to 1780 would be the immediate hurdle for the TCS. View on IRCTC. So IRCTC is moving in a pullback move. In fact, it's hitting a upward circuit almost from last 7-8 trading sessions. Now the immediate hurdle for IRCTC is placed around 1360 zone. So this move may continue up to 1360, 1380 kind of levels. So Cummins, after the huge down move, it formed a bullish engulfing pattern on Wednesday, और उसके बाद में कल positive momentum देखने के लिए मिला है. So we may see a bounce back in Cummins up to around 400, 410 levels. So यहाँ से bounce back possible है. If you are having a long positions, then keep a stop loss of 330 and keep on holding for a bounce up to around 400 kind of levels. View on Cipla. So Cipla is again it outperformed in line with the its peers. Pharma पूरा outperform किया था और साथ में Cipla भी किया था. Cipla का एक previous high था around 576, उसके ऊपर इसने closing दिया जो एक positive sign है. Now the major hurdle for Cipla is placed around 620 levels. तो यहाँ से और थोड़ा bounce आ सकता है 620, 625 levels तक. और immediate जो support है, first is 576, it's very near to that, and the major support is there around 550, 540 zone. So long positions है तो 540 का stop loss रखिए और 620, 630 के जोन में आता है तो वहाँ पे एक बार के लिए profit booking के लिए देखें. Then view on IndusInd Bank. IndusInd Bank overall trend is negative. It's in strong down move. अभी जो bounce आ रहा है, chances है कि ये bounce 450 से 500 के जोन में जाके वहां से फिर से डाउन मूव स्टार्ट हो सकता है. So don't look for buying opportunity in a stock like IndusInd Bank और RBL Bank जहां पे already काफी bounce हुआ है, correction हुआ है. So you need to keep one thing in mind कि जो stock ये fall में 65-70% fall हुए थे, वो stocks का फिर से न्यू हाइज बनाना या फिर प्रीवियस हाइज के पास में आना बहुत डिफिकल्ट है. सो जो ज्यादा गिरे हैं, जिसने ड्रेस्टिकली अंडर परफॉर्म किया है इन द रिसेंट फॉल, यू नीड टू अवॉइड दिस काइंड ऑफ काउंटर्स. नाउ view on Bharti. So Bharti, we are having a positive view, and in fact we recommended to buy the stock yesterday. We may see a bounce in Bharti up to around 520 levels in next couple of days. So if you are having a long positions, then you need to hold it with a stop loss of 470. कल का ओपन लो भी सेम था, उसके बाद में अच्छा मोमेंटम भी दिखा है. So we recommended to buy around 482 kind of levels. So you can keep on holding for a target of 520. Then view on Sun Pharma. So Sun Pharma had given a breakout on daily chart, but it closed exactly around the breakout level. So 555, 560 would be a make or break level for Sun Pharma. If it sustains above 560, closes above that, then we may see a bounce. Sorry, 460, then we may see a bounce up to around 550 kind of level. So 100 points का bounce उसमें हो सकता है. But if it breaks and closes below 440 levels, तो फिर से एक pullback move possible है जो इसको 400 तक ले जा सकता है. View on Tech Mahindra. So Tech Mahindra again in line with the other IT counters, ये भी थोड़ा underperform कर रहा है, and we may see a down move in Tech Mahindra up to around 500 levels. Major hurdle right now is placed in the zone of 590 to 600. तो bounces पे sell के लिए देखना चाहिए 600 की stop loss के साथ में. Then view on Tata Steel. So हम लोग ने last week we discussed about a Nifty metal sector. So Nifty metal ने last week अपने make or break level पे था on monthly chart, and I can recollect that it was trading around 1500 levels. So I said that if it breaks and sustains below 1450, then we may see a fall in metal counters. While if it doesn't breaks that and if it bounces from these levels, then a bounce can be there. So the same thing happened with the metal stocks also. It were trading around its support zones, and short positions were there. So short covering bounce are witnessing in metal stocks, and Tata Steel may bounce up to around 305 to 310 kind of levels from current levels. Now the major support for Tata Steel is placed around 250. If it sustains below 250, then that would be a very negative sign for the Tata Steel. View on Tata Chemical. So Tata Chemical, till the time it doesn't crosses 243 to 45 zone, don't look for buying opportunity. If it sustains below 245, then only you can look for buying for an up move up to around 265 levels. So as of now, avoid the stock on the long side. Short side के लिए भी नहीं है, because it's trading on the in the narrow range. So range bound है. So keep a note on the levels. 245 के ऊपर ही buying के लिए देखें. Then view on Lupin. So Lupin is trading around its previous resistance zone. 820 का इसका एक strong hurdle था, जो कि इसने high किया था in November 2019. Now if it crosses 820, then we may see a bounce up to around 880 levels. So last 2 week में already Lupin ने एक अच्छा खासा bounce दिखाया है. It rallied from 535 to 800 kind of levels, which is a very decent up move in Lupin. Now, if you are having longs, then start booking profit gradually, but don't look for shorting opportunity as of now. View on ITC. ITC, we are having a positive view, and in fact, we had seen a formation of a bullish butterfly pattern on a weekly chart of ITC. उसके PRZ से ही इसमें momentum start हुआ है, and this momentum may continue up to around 210 kind of levels. So if you are already holding the stock, then keep on holding. If you want to buy, then 175 would be a decent level to take a long positions in ITC for a target of 210, and you can keep a stop loss of 156. Then question is it right time to buy Axis Bank? Axis Bank, if you are having a trading view, then you can look, you can buy the stock with a stop loss of 395 on upside. We may see a bounce up to around 465 to 470 levels. One more query, will market go down to 6,000 mark due to Corona? So see, basically, as I said कि ये जो fall है, this is something new for most of the market participant because of same reason and because of the same reason which is keeping all the global indices on the lower side. Okay, पूरे ग्लोब के जितने भी मार्केट है सब करेक्ट हो रहे बिकॉज ऑफ द कोरोना वायरस एंड इट्स so as far as levels are concerned, it may go down, but as of now we are not taking a call for 6,000. We are, as I said, we are looking to take a call for a week at a time. So next week के लिए हम लोग अभी discuss कर रहे हैं. Let's see. But so for investment, as I said, you need to be prepared for 6,000 also. That's why आपको trenches में investment करना. But from trading perspective, don't keep that kind of levels in mind because you will get biased. कि market 6,000 तक आ सकता है and you will also lose the opportunity to trade on the long side. जैसा हम लोग ने 2008 में देखा था कि market had 8 rallies, 8 bear market rallies. So वो जो रैली है वो रैली को भी आप प्ले कर सकते हैं. सो वो प्ले करने के लिए आपको आपका बायसनेस नहीं होना चाहिए कि मार्केट यहाँ से फॉल ही होगा. सो यू नीड टू प्ले ऑन बोथ साइड, लॉन्ग एज वेल एज शॉर्ट साइड. इफ यू आर अ ट्रेडर, इफ यू आर अ इन्वेस्टर, देन यू कैन स्टार्ट इन्वेस्टिंग लोअर लेवल्स पे करते रहो और नेक्स्ट 2 years में और 3 years में यू कैन गेट अ फ्रूटफुल रिटर्न. देन few more questions in chat box. For next week, Nifty and Bank Nifty levels. So as I said, Nifty strong hurdle around 9,400 levels. So वो एक strong hurdle रहेगा और नीचे की साइड में immediate support जो है वो है 8850 पे. Below that we may see on down move up to 8650. Okay, and for the Bank Nifty, the immediate support for Bank Nifty is placed around 21,000 levels. Bank Nifty अगर 21,000 और 21,500 का जो जोन है उसके ऊपर सस्टेन करता है, then only we may see a bounce. So the last swing high for Bank Nifty was 21,462. So that would be an immediate hurdle on the upside. और नीचे में support जो आ रहा है, the first support is 19,000 and below that major support is somewhere around 17,900 kind of level. If it crosses 9,400, okay, then we may see the continuation in pullback move up to around 9,900 to 10,000 kind of levels. Okay, now what's the view on India VIX? So VIX के ऊपर से basically India VIX had moved to its 11-year high of 86 kind of levels and वहां से फिर से correction आना start हुआ है. Right now it's trading around the 50% retracement level of the entire up move. जो इसमें पूरा up move आया था India VIX में, which started from 10 level to 86, 50% retrace already हो चुका है. And now at these levels, if it again starts moving higher, then we may see a bounce in India VIX and that will have a negative impact of our market. So if it's at make or break level India VIX, if it sustains below 45 levels, then only some more stability in the can be there in market. Otherwise, we may see a volatile moves in coming days, and thus there is you need to keep a note of the same. So India VIX का levels अगर ध्यान में रखना है तो if it moves above 55, then that would be a negative sign for market. If it sustains below 45, then it will provide some stability. Okay. Then a few more questions. View on Pidilite industry. So Pidilite overall is seeing some bounce back, and this bounce may continue somewhere up to around 1420 kind of levels. So अभी अगर Pidilite पे longs है तो उसको hold रखें. 1310 का stop loss रहेगा and 1420 levels आता है तो वहाँ पे exit करने के लिए देखें. So Marico again may see a bounce up to around 315 levels. but it would be very difficult for Marico to sustain about 315. So if you are having a long positions, then you need to look, book profit around 310, 315 kind of levels. Guys, now we are done with today's webinar. If like stay connected, stay safe at home, and we'll be there with more webinars in coming days. So every day we are having a webinar on different topics, whether it's on fundamentals, technicals, commodities, and all. So we'll be there to help you out with your queries. We'll there to help you with lot of inputs on fundamental as well as on the technical side. So stay tuned and stay safe. Thank you.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.